Hello everyone, it's King Solaris here today, and I want to tell you guys a little about the new deck that I'm creating. I've titled it and named it Igworlds. This should make a vitalizing thing to a bunch of scrubs that want to actually play it. It's a pretty fun deck, of course for you, not for your opponent. But aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on it. Here's the basic explanation of things. Okay, I'm going to go in to Dueling Network. Here's my deck constructor. And the deck that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys today is Igworlds. And this deck pretty much is literally almost your opponent doesn't have a turn. Or if they do have a turn, it's limited amount of time until they don't have a turn. If you understand what I mean by that. Without further ado, let's get started on the deck profile. The first card and the main card of the deck is World. This is the only card I'm going to end up explaining from the deck except for 2 or 3 others. This card basically is the whole heart of the deck. Because the effect is when it's summoned, you toss a coin. Heads during the end phase, you send 2 monsters you control to the graveyard to skip your opponent's next turn. That means at the end phase, their turn is skipped and it automatically becomes your turn again. But if you hit tails during your opponent's draw phase, add the top card of their graveyard back to their hand. So they draw and then they add the top card of their graveyard back to their hand. It seems to be very, very consistent, this deck. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's continue. So aside from that, you have Necrogardna, 2 Necrogardnas and 2 Worlds, 3 Ignite Cavaliers, which are scale 2s, 3 Ignite Crusaders, which are scale 2s, 3 Ignite Margraves, which are scale 7s, 3 Ignite 3 Ignite Paladins, which are scale 2s, 3 Ignite Squires, which are scale 7s, 3 Ignite Templars, which are scale 7s, and 2 Ignite Veterans, which are scale 7s. So, inside this deck, of course, if you already know how Ignite works, it's fine. The deck itself focuses on getting out World, and you go ahead and get out your Paladin, your Squire, and you get all that stuff out to be able to tribute them from the Pendulum Zone. They go to the extra, and then you reset them. So you have to be able to special summon over and over again. Of course, there's multiple cards that can end up screwing this over, but then again, that's why you have your side deck. Here's Galaxy Cyclone, one of those. 3 Heart of the Underdogs. Normally, I guess you could say do 2. You don't get into it as fast. You might as well go ahead and do 3. 2 Light Barriers. Because the effect of Light Barrier, this is the other card, one of the other cards I'm going to explain. The effect of Light Barrier is, during your opponent's standby phase, toss a coin. If the result is heads, the following effects are negated until the end phase. But when you summon an Arcana Force monster, choose which effect to apply without tossing a coin. So basically you can go ahead to World and choose heads so that you can be able to skip your opponent's turn. If an Arcana Force monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you will gain life points equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Now, who the hell does not like gaining life points? That's like the best thing inside Yu-Gi-Oh! Is sitting there and gaining life points just because you can. The next card is 1 Mystical Space Typhoon for obvious destruction, 1 Day of Peace, 1 Regeki, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, and here's another card I want to talk about, Roulette Spider. Now, a lot of people are going to sit here and say that Roulette Spider is, kind of a dumb card and all that type of stuff. But I've seen it work, and that's the reason why I only run 1 inside main, is because I've seen it work 2 times, and it works to be able to use the effect. Of course, it does a big backdraw to you if it's the first and second effect, and the third effect. But aside from that, the 4th, 5th, and 6th effects are pretty good. If you get one of those, that is pretty good. So I figure I have a 50-50 chance on that card, but it's still a funny card to play. Again, you know, this deck is, I played it and rated on DN, but you might want to, you might not want to, we'll see. Ignite Burst, only one of that. 2 Reversal of Fates, this is the other card I want to talk about. Reversal of Fate generally is used on a Arcana Force monster. You can activate it once, obviously, since it's a trap card when it's set for 1 turn. But once you do, if World's already out in the field and you got Tails on it, then you activate this, and the effect of the World automatically becomes the head's effect of skipping your opponent's turns. And it's permanent. It stays permanently, which is why this card and this combo can be almost seen as deadly unless your opponent can actually stop special summoning, which if it was an anti-meta deck or something around those lines. The next card inside the deck is Solemn Warning, and the last card is Trap Stun. Now that's all for the main deck. Aside from the main deck, we have the extra. I run 1 Abyss Dweller for effects Engrave, 1 Castiel, 1 Emerald, 1 Downward Magician, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Alucard for popping back row and set cards, Mech Equip Engineer for negation of attacks and to stall a little bit until you can get your stuff out, 1 number 101 Silent Honor Arc, 1 Leviathan Dragon, 1 Giga Brilliant, 1 number 61 Volcanosaurus, and this card can also be good as be able to end the game quicker, more quickly, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up skipping and skipping and skipping to the point where the game might get a little bit boring to you, and you might want to go in and go ahead and attack. And that's why Ignites are also good, because they literally spam the field, and also they're so easy to go into XYZs with. You have 1 Photon Strike Bouncer, and that's obviously for the 2 veterans that are inside there. I only run 1, and that's just him for the battle phase. 1 Shark Fortress. Shark Fortress's effect is obviously when he attacks, you can detach target 1 face-up monster. It can make a second attack. Now that's great, because if you can get into that and you have World on the field, you can have World do a second attack if you really needed to. Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo. He's pretty good because he targets 2 set cards and destroys them. This is just another option, again, if you have multiple set cards that your opponent's setting because they can't get around you or something. And then, of course, the last card I have inside here is Zubaba General. All Ignites are warriors. If you're going to notice inside here, the only card inside here that isn't a warrior, I believe, is, the only card inside here that isn't a warrior is the World. So Zero Gardena and all these other ones can be used on Zubaba General from your hand to have it gain attack, and it doesn't say, and it only says detach, and then once per turn you equip 1 warrior type monster from your hand. It does not say that only 1 can be equipped to the monster, meaning next turn, let's say the 2 most powerful monsters inside the deck that are Ignites with pure attack points seem to be Cavalier and Templar, or just 2 Cavaliers. Let's say you got 2 Cavaliers on your Zubaba General. That's already 6,800 attack points. That's a lot of damage. So that's basically the extra. Of course, you can do whatever you want inside, but from my side, I sided in a couple things. I have an Ignite Champion for the effect. You can look up if you want to know. Lancer, same thing. Veteran, I have it in just in case I need it. Normally I tend to do not need it, but let's say my opponent is stopping special summons to the point where I actually need to search more cards, because once they hit the graveyard, that becomes a great thing to use. Aside from that, I have 1 D-Spell. People are always telling me, why do you, I've heard many people say, why do you run D-Spell? I've actually run D-Spell in a decent amount of my decks when I make them. Even if you guys don't normally see it inside my decks, it's always in the side deck, and this is one of the reasons. It selects 1 spell card in the field and destroys it. If the selected card is set, pick it up and see the card. If it's a spell card, it's destroyed. If it's a trap card, return it to original position. Now look at this. If it's a spell card, yeah, sure, it's destroyed. If it's a trap card, it's reset. But you can look at a set card. That's the point. Not the fact that it actually gets destroyed, not the fact that that happens. And from that point, you can apply whatever you want to. For instance, you can, if it's a trap card and you know it, then you can go ahead and apply your trap stun or apply other cards. Next card inside the deck is for taking care of synchros. You want to play desynchro, and you can read what that effect does. And then I run 2 prohibitions. Normally I run 3, but I don't see it because I think it overpowers the deck. I do have one more roulette spider inside here. I explained that already. Effect 4, 5, and 6 are definitely worth the time to use it. I have one more ignite burst. For light monsters, I have light imprisoning mirror. For back row, when they declare attacks, I have malevolent catastrophe. Fusions, I have non-fusion area. I have 2 royal decrees. This was the other card I was talking about when you go ahead and use trap stun. What I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go ahead and take roulette spider out, and what I want you guys to put in inside the side deck, if you can, is pot of riches, because a lot of the times if they negate ignite summons, you'll be able to put them back and draw 2. And the last card from the deck is Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and that's take care of all dark monster effects. So aside from that, that's the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel, please, and comment. Make sure that you guys do everything. If you want to change up this deck, that's fine. This is my original idea, so if you are going to use it, please at least PM me on DN and let me know. My name is Kokugatsu Solaris. Go Kokugatsu Gaming, and comment and subscribe below, please. And thank you, and have a great day today.